A portrait of the great Italian baritone who was born 100 years ago on December the 25th, 1876, Giuseppe De Luca.
The noble tones of Giuseppe De Luca, one of the greatest of all Italian baritones, singing the death scene of Posa from Verdi's Don Carlos. Brought up to the vocal skills and techniques of the last century, De Luca carried them proudly through a career of exceptional length and distinction into the 5th decade of the present one. He was born in Rome on Christmas Day 1876, and as the eldest of the many children of a blacksmith, he learnt what poverty meant. His particular talents showed themselves early, and at the age of 8 he was admitted to a choir school. He was given a valuable musical grounding, especially in sight reading, and made good enough progress to sing in the choir of St. Peter's. He was a treble, and later in life he enjoyed recalling that one of the altos in his class also became famous, a little boy named Eugenio Pacelli, who ended up as Pope Pius XII. From the choir school, De Luca auditioned for the Academy of Santa Cecilia. His voice had settled into a light baritone, and he'd prepared a formidable list of arias. So he was disappointed to be called upon for nothing more impressive than a few scales and the odd operatic phrase from here and there. But he passed, and he was lucky enough to fall into the hands of Maestro Persichini, teacher of the legendary baritone Battistini, and a believer in the gradual, thorough grounding of young voices. The extent to which De Luca absorbed his teaching can be judged by his earliest records, such as this one made in 1903 when he was still only 26, of Vien Leonora from Donizetti's La Favorita. The recording, of course, bears the hallmarks of those technically primitive days, but De Luca's vocal style is extraordinarily elegant and assured for one so young. These early discs of De Luca's were not, in fact, his first foray into the new world of recording. While he was still 18, and this he only admitted later in life, his family was desperately short of money following the death of his father. So he entered into a dubious transaction with the owner of a bar automatico. This was a sort of primeval jukebox. By inserting a small coin, one could listen to a musical cylinder over a pair of earphones. De Luca recorded no less than 40 of these cylinders at 2 lire apiece, and they joined the repertoire of the bar automatico under the names of Cashman, Morel, and the other star baritones of the day. De Luca's stage debut took place in Piacenza in November 1897 as Valentine in Faust, and the development of his career was steady rather than spectacular. His voice was a comparatively light one, and the competition was stiff. As he himself said in his old age, the baritones of my generation, Ruffo, Amato, San Marco, Stracciari, what I wouldn't have given to have had a voice as strong as theirs. But of course, with them around, I had to learn to sing. And indeed, by making himself a complete master of the art of voice production, De Luca ultimately needed to fear no competition. Here's a recording which dates from 1905, when he was 28, of the little love song Occhi di Fata by Denza, and it already shows many characteristics of the impeccable De Luca style. Beautiful phrasing, breath control, and legato. There's plenty of feeling, plenty of charm, but there's also a musical restraint which prevents De Luca from even verging on obviousness or exaggeration.
Belli occhi di fata, oh belli occhi stranissimi e profondi, voi m'avete rubata la pace della prima gioventù. Bella signora, dai capelli biondi, per la mia giovinezza che bozzata, mi darete di dei vostri baci la febbre e l'ardore, voi pallida cadrete tra le mie braccia aperte, tra le mie braccia aperte. Della mia gioventù rendete il fiore del mio giovane sangue, il fiore prendete,
By 1902, De Luca was already sufficiently prominent to be given the role of Michonnet in the world premiere of Cilea's Adriana Lecouvreur at the Lirico Milan, with Caruso as Maurizio. And 3 weeks later, he undertook a role which proved something of a turning point in his development. This was the devil in the Italian premiere of Massenet's opera Griselidis, a real character role. And despite his diminutive stature, he was a tiny little man, De Luca revealed a flair for stagecraft which many of his competitors didn't possess. Witness the fact that a year later in Buenos Aires he appeared as Beckmesser, unlikely territory for an Italian bel cantist. And with roles like Figaro in The Barber of Seville and Malatesta in Don Pasquale, he became something of a specialist in the comic field. Here he is as Malatesta, in a recording made in 1922 at the peak of his career with Lucrezia Borri. It's part of the scene in which he coaches Norina in the role she's to play for the wooing of Don Pasquale.
Mi volete fiero,
No.
Mi volete bella?
No, no, la parte non è questa. No, 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 no. La parte non è questa, 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 state un po' ad ascoltare. Convien far la semplicità.
La semplicità.
Or la parte comincia.
Oh, che questo perfezione.
Quando forzo e bocca stretta.
Or proviamo questa attrazione.
Or proviamo quest'altra azione.
Vergogna.
Brava, brava, brava.
Oh, stella.
Brava, brava, triconcella, va benissimo così.